Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has announced a radical new affordable housing plan.
I'm excited to introduce the Homes for All Act, which will fulfill the promise of a homes guarantee by building 12 million new public housing and private, permanently affordable rental units.
Wow, well, that plan could cost payers about $1 trillion. Joining us right now to discuss is the Vice Chairman of the Center for Urban Renewal and Education, Marc Little, joining us from LA. Marc, good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve. It's so good to be with you. I've been upgraded. I'm now the chair.
Well, there you go. Congratulations. So she's talking about affordable housing. The big question is, can we afford it?
Steve, the reality is that we're dealing with a statist, a big government statist. We've gone from a $52 trillion universal health care plan by Elizabeth Warren, and now a $1.2 trillion program by Ilhan Omar. Both of these plans are really designed to bankrupt America. Big government leads to less freedom. And the reality is that Ilhan Omar is calling it a human right, a basic human right. We have to listen to the language. The reality is that human rights, or natural rights, as described by John Locke, are not dependent on government, and they're guaranteed by God. What she's really talking about is a legal right, which is dependent on government and can be revoked. If you just look at our friends in Hong Kong and Iran, they are under government-given rights, and they're being taken away, and they want what we want, which Ilhan Omar is very much trying to take away, with a sleight of hand, I might add.
Okay, well, we heard in that soundbite she's talking about 12 million new affordable housing units. There is a need for affordable housing, right?
There's absolutely a need for affordable housing that's typically built by developers in communities where regulations promote the ability for developers to do that using tax credits and other things. And particularly in California, the redevelopment agency has been shuttered, and now affordable housing is very difficult to build in California.
But, Marc, you know, we have heard from the political left a lot of big plans that have very large price tags. That's just what they're talking about right now. Ultimately, in 2020, you know, when it's time to pick the next president, essentially, it'll be a referendum on whether or not the country as a whole wants stuff like that.
Well, you're absolutely right, and that's the statist agenda, and in many ways our schools are indoctrinating, and we're experiencing a rise in a conversation, at least, about socialism. The reality is that the answer is hard work, school choice, education. When you do those things, you can then afford the basics in life.
All right. Marc Little joining us from Los Angeles today. Marc, thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.